Okay, so I'm going to be redoing the pre-trip for a school bus. I did put out my wheel chocks already. I do want to go over the fact that the CDL manual, it has a checkoff list. This is what it looks like for a school bus. They want you to use that when you are at the DMV testing. I don't think it's a requirement, but they'll actually give you one if you don't have one, at least in my experience. So what we're going to start with is the air brake test. And I don't know if you can see that in the video, but my def lights are not actually blinking. It kind of looks funny in the video. Okay, so I'm going to turn my bus on. I'm going to put my air down below 100 PSI. And I'm going to high idle it. You can either use your speed control with your resume buttons to make it go into high idle in a C2, or you can just use the throttle to do it. Now that I know that my air tanks are full, 1, turn the key off. 2, turn the key to run position. 3, push your service brake and push in your parking brake. Once the gauges have settled, you're going to use a stopwatch or whatever you have. And you're going to time it for a minute, holding down the brake after that initial drop. Now we're going to time it. And you're going to wait a whole minute. And you actually have to time it. You cannot cut it short by 3 seconds. It can't be 56 seconds long. It has to be a whole 60 seconds when you're doing this test. So we'll just go ahead and say that the whole minute is up now. We did not lose more than 3 PSI. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to pump the brakes down. The buzzer, warning buzzer and light will come on no less than 55. This bus is 60. Okay, the next step is I'm going to continue fanning my brakes. The emergency brake should come on between 20 and 45 PSI. This bus is around 30 PSI. Okay, then start your bus. Put it into a high idle. So with my speed control on, resume Excel. Makes my RPMs go up. While that's building, I'm going to go out and get my wheel chocks. Buckle up. And then it talks about doing the parking brake test, What that is you're going to leave your parking brake set, put it into drive. Sorry, better use the correct one. Put it into drive. You're going to try and pull ahead, leaving your parking brake set. Not going anywhere. The next part is the service brake. This is where you leave it in drive and release your parking brake. Again, have your foot on the service brake in order to release that brake. Otherwise, you'll just leak air. So you're going to move ahead at 5 miles per hour. Firmly apply the brake. And you should not feel any pulling to the left or to the right. Okay, the next thing that you need to go over at the DMV, and you can go off the checklist. I kind of have an order of everything that I follow. So I start here on the right. You have to check your heaters and defrosters. So if you put it on heat and defrost, checks them both at the same time. Works on low, works on high. Going to come across. You have to do all your indicators. So turn your headlights on. You're going to do your high beam indicator, left turn signal, right turn signal, and your four ways. All the indicators are working. You'll honk your horn. You'll come across here and do your rear heater, low and high. Step heater, low and high. Defrosting fan, low and high. And the other one, wipers. Don't want to forget those. You have to make sure that they spray, that they're wiping clear. So my windshield's clean, clear. There's no cracks, defects. My wipers are in good condition. There's no rips or tears on them. My mirrors, they're adjusted for me. They are clean and clear as well. And then my emergency equipment. And I do still have my bus running. I have my 3 reflective triangles, crowbar. Up here I have my fully charged fire extinguisher. It's secure, it's up to date. My first aid kit and my body fluid cleanup kits, they are secure, sealed, not missing or broken. Seatbelt cutter. 6 spare fuses are over here. And then I would also check my passenger monitoring device. That's stored up here. And I can see lights blinking on it. The camera is secure. And then walking back through the bus, I'm going to check all the seats, making sure that the seat bottoms, the seat backs, and that they are also securely fastened to the floor. And I would do that all the way back. Going back, I have 6 emergency exit windows. They're all properly labeled. I have 2 emergency roof hatches. They are also properly labeled, and the back door is also labeled. At the back door, I'm going to open it all the way to make sure I hear the warning buzzer. Open it all the way. Make sure it latches. Close it. Coming up through, you're going to take and open one of the emergency windows. It only needs to be one. I hear the buzzer. Push out. And then as far as the roof hatches, you do not have to actually open them. At least our DMV does not require it because they're tricky to close again. But you're going to turn this to exit, and then you'll push the red button straight up and it'll pop open. Okay, and then at this time I would ask the examiner if he or she would mind going out and checking my lights. So I would let him or her out. They're going out. And then up front, I would tell them what lights to check. So we have our headlights, which is also our running light, our left turn signal, right turn signal, 4 ways. And then we would have our amber 8 ways. And then we would check our red 8 ways. And then they would go to the back and do the same thing. We would check the brake lights, turn signals, 4 ways, and 8-way lights. And then at that time, I would turn the bus off, so we're ready for the outside pre-trip. And because I did not run my red 8 ways, I don't have my student left behind button that I have to push. Otherwise, normally you do have to go push that. Coming down the steps, checking my handrail, my steps, making sure that they're clear, free of debris. And my light is the correct color, not cracked, broken, or damaged, no loose or missing parts. The front of the bus, just got to do all the lights. So I have my amber clearance, my amber 8 ways, and my red 8 ways, my headlights, turn signals, 4 ways, and 4 ways, turn signals, and a running light in there. None of those are cracked, broken, or damaged, no loose or missing parts, and they're the proper color. My windshield, I've already set on the inside, and it also has current inspection stickers. I am checking my crossing arm, and we would have seen when we were doing the lamp check that it is working correctly. The bus does not have any puddles, and nothing is about to drip underneath it either. The bus is not leaning left or right. I'm gonna go under the hood. And if you're doing school bus only testing, some of this you do not have to do. But the way I'm doing it, it is for class B, C, D, L. So that way any of our drivers can still go drive straight truck once they get their class B. So under the hood, we have our coolant reservoir, cap secure, it's not leaking. And the canister is also secure. All the associated hoses, they're not leaking, not frayed, and they're secure. I have the frame of the bus, which I would check from the front bumper to the back bumper. It's not cracked, rusted through, and no illegal welds. My suspension system, so I have the mounts, front and the back. The leaf spring itself, and the U-bolts, not cracked, broken, or damaged, no loose or missing parts. There's no scissoring. My shock absorber, it's secure, it's not cracked, broken, or damaged. There's no grease, oil, or dirt coming out from it either. My air hoses for my air brakes, my air line, it's not cracked, dry rotted. I hear no leaking, along with the couplings. They are secure, no leaking, not dry rotted or anywhere. My brakes, I would check in the hole here, along with the drums. There is no oil or dirt or grease in there. The brakes aren't worn dangerously thin. The tire walls, no bulging, no dry rot, no cuts. The tread, steer tires, would be checked with a tire depth gauge. They cannot be less than 430 seconds, and they cannot have recaps. Then the rims, they are not bent, cracked, rusted through, and no illegal welds. The lug nuts, they're all secure, not cracked. There's no shiny or rust trails around them. They're all secure. The studs, they are not out of round. There's no shiny. And the valve stem, it's centered, has a cap, and you would check the air pressure with a tire pressure gauge. Then on the driver's side, you will check the oil dipstick. You're going to pull it out, wipe it off, put it back in, pull it out, and it needs to be between fill and full with the bus off. We have wires. You're going to check to make sure that there's no fraying, splicing, cutting, burns. They're all in good condition and secure. Then we have the steering. We have the steering shaft. It's not bent or twisted. The steering box is not cracked, broken, or damaged. No loose or missing parts. It's not leaking. It has 3 hoses. So 1, 2, and 3. That goes down to the power steering pump. And there are couplings, not cracked, broken, or damaged. No loose or missing parts. They're not leaking. The canister, it's between fill and full, has a cap. It is not leaking, is secure. Then we have the arm, the link, and the rod, also known as the Pitman arm, drag link, and tie rod. There's another arm down in here as well. They are all secure with bolts and nuts and cotter pins. Nothing's cracked, broken, or damaged. No loose or missing parts. Nothing's bent or twisted. And that would be it. On the outside, we have our traffic monitoring devices, also known as our flat and convex mirrors and our cross view mirrors. Make sure they're not cracked, broken, or damaged. No loose or missing parts. Over here, we're just going to check the DEF door. The cap is secure. The hoses and the tank are not leaking, and they're secure. The door is functioning properly. Check to make sure that the bus is not leaning forwards or backwards. We're just going to do the lights. So we have 1, 2 amber, 1 red clearance light, red reflector, amber reflector, and the amber turn signal. Not cracked, broken, or damaged. No loose or missing parts. They're proper color and they're clean. Underneath, in between the duals, you are checking the air lines and the couplings. There's no leaking, not dry rotted, no cracks. Gonna check the brakes. The brakes, there is the brakes and drums. There is no grease, oil, or dirt. And then you have your suspension. You have your hangers, also known as mounts. Your leaf spring, which goes back to your airbag. So you can see the airbag over there pretty good. You're checking to make sure that they're not cracked, broken, or damaged. No loose or missing parts. They're not scissoring. U-bolts are secure, not cracked or damaged. And it also has a shock absorber. There's the very top of it. It's not cracked, broken or damaged, no loose or missing parts, secure, and it's not leaking any grease or oil. The drive tires, you want them to be wearing across evenly. There's no obstruction. It can have recaps, no less than 2 30-seconds tread. You would check that with a tire depth gauge. Tire walls, there's no cracks, cuts, bulges. The rims, you would check to make sure that they're not bent or twisted. No illegal welds, no cracks, not rusted through anywhere. The lugs, you're going to make sure that they are all secure all the way around. No cracks, and there's no shiny or rust trails around them. And then the studs, going to make sure that they are not out of round or shiny. The valve stems, which the back duals have 2, so I have one here and one here. They have caps, they're secure and centered, and I would check the air pressure with a tire pressure gauge. Check your diesel door, make sure the cap is secure. The associated hoses and tank are secure and not leaking. To the back, all you're going to check are the lights. That's it. Okay, checking the rear lights. We have the amber clearance, the red clearance, the amber 8-ways, the red 8-ways, the amber turn signal and 4-ways, the red running lights and brake lights, and the reverse lights and the red reflectors. Proper color, not cracked, broken, or damaged, no loose or missing parts. They're all secure. On this side of the bus, I'm just going to check the lights back here. So I have the 2 amber, 1 red clearance light, 1 red reflector, and an amber reflector, and the amber turn signal. And I also have the red lights on my stop arm, not cracked, broken, or damaged, no loose or missing parts. They are all the proper color. What's new on this side that we're going to do, the stop arm secured to the bus, and we had seen when we did the lamp check, it's not cracked, broken, or damaged, no loose or missing parts. And the battery box, you don't actually have to touch anything in here. You're just going to point, but you want to make sure that all the nuts are secure. You don't see any corrosion. There's no chafing. Everything's secure. Nothing's cracked, broken, or damaged. No loose or missing parts. The air release valves are not leaking air either. And that would be your entire pre-trip. I did have 2 people training with this method. They have both passed the first time around. You can have this checkoff list with you while you were taking your test. Make sure there's no extra writing on it, and you can check it off as you go if you need to. Let me know if this has helped you in your studying, or if this has helped you pass your test. And if your examiner had told you anything different from what I had said, please let me know in the comments. Thank you.